Hello and welcome to our midweek conversation at First Baptist Sweetwater. I'm Jerry Hendricks. I'm in San Antonio today, San Antonio, Texas, for a conference, and I am joined by Teak Hamilton, my great associate there in Sweetwater, Texas. Good morning, Teak. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Jerry.
It is Monday morning, and that's different for us. We usually podcast on Monday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon, so getting our week started in this fashion is a little bit different.
Yeah, but it works. We can get this.
So I started to say, I think we have all the kinks worked out that we would normally have worked out on a Monday, but except it's just one of these weird things that maybe our audience would be interested to know that a lot of times when I'm gone, there are extra kinks that emerge.
Random ones.
So bless your heart, Teak. Thanks for taking care of things. I appreciate you a lot. So, but I've already.
I know what that.
Yeah. No, not in this case. Not in this case. In our case, it means I owe you lunch. So, had breakfast this morning with some friends that we did camp with, been longtime associates with, and got to also, I had someone join us from the BGCT office for breakfast. That was fun, getting to talk to him. He had actually been in our church right before I came. We did a conference, a training conference, and I was there for that for some reason. At your invitation, I'm sure. Yours or Phillips.
Yeah, you came.
Do what?
You came and spoke at it.
Okay. Well, I couldn't remember for sure why I was there. I didn't remember him. I knew some of the other people in the room at that time, and so, anyways, it was good to chat with him and make our reacquaintance. We were in this Gulf Coast area at about the same time, and there's had a lot of the same friends. So. Anyway, so for me, for this event, it's off to a fast start. I mean,
sounds like it.
Yeah. So, and what didn't help that is I stayed up late, which I'm not going to tell you what I'm not going to interpret late for you, but because for me, late nowadays is apparently pretty early. Well, I'll just put it this way. If anyone were curious, just Google Tom Brady's sleep schedule. And I'm in that same range. So anyways, yeah, I go to bed early.
Who's Tom Brady?
Tom Brady. Bless his heart. Anyways. Yeah. So today we'll get involved with some conferences here. There's a pastor trek this year for the first time. And so I'll hit a couple of those conferences. I was telling our mutual friend, Wes Hamilton, I'm not used to being on the inside of the conference. We're not Wes Hamilton, Wes Henson.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew when I said that didn't sound exactly right. But I'm not used to being on the inside of the conference. I usually have a table or something there, or I'm just there to network and see some folks as a non-attender / participant. But so this will be fun. And so anyways, looking forward to that and looking forward to being in San Antonio.
I mean, you're in San Antonio. That is like the food capital of Texas. So I expect to see lots of pictures of good food you're eating. Don't just eat at those exhibits. That's gross.
I'm telling you, I'm always skeptical at the free breakfast bar at these hotels. So I usually opt for fruit or cereals. Some things that I know what it is.
Right.
Because a lot of the hot food I don't, but because I'm in San Antonio, I guess it was chorizo and eggs, so I had some. And so, that's a little different. That's special, and but so I was kidding Wes about grabbing some tortillas and having that for lunch also, but I didn't do that. I played it straight there, and we'll go out and get a sandwich or something. But. Well, we concluded our series yesterday on giftedness. Tried to wrap that up well with where we had been and kind of keep the consistent language there. I know that I'm concerned sometimes because I'm aware of how repetitive the language is, but that's really pretty much intentional on a series like that. Right. And I enjoyed being able to bring in some additional thoughts to how, as far as other voices and things like that. So that was an important part for me, I think, to convey to our congregation as we think about that.
Right. And it's cool that it was Peter, because Peter was firsthand with Jesus as an apostle, Paul and Paul later on, but Peter was right there. And so it's cool to have that insight also, someone who was firsthand with Jesus, walked with him.
Yeah. The urgency that was mentioned in that first verse, I did struggle a bit there because it was so much more information I wanted to share, because as you know, I'm reading Brian Zahn, and he's talking about Revelation a little bit in the book that I'm reading. And I go, wow, it's really hard it's hard. I'm struggling a little bit to dial this back and not bring in some of that, but we're going to save that for Dr. Lyle and our summit series, and just to kind of approach this in a general fashion, like we would, just talking about the urgency of the time.
Yeah, if there's 3 messages you go to in January, those are 3 you want to go
to. Yes, I am not going to disagree with you on that one. I think those are, we talk occasionally about can't miss Sundays, and I would say that those 3 Sundays are can't miss Sundays. You really want to make sure that you're here. We have kind of dropped those down into the heart of the month so that we're already, we're back on schedule, barring any kind of weather catastrophe or something else that strikes us. But anyways, we'll definitely be looking forward to that. So it was fun walking through that series, and look forward to being able to have some follow-up conversations with folks as we kind of discover needs in our church, and then have the opportunity to talk to some people about those opportunities of service. And I think we're seeing more and more of those things emerge through the life of our church. One of the things I found interesting, I don't think I went there very far on Sunday, but just talking about, I mentioned it. I didn't use the word decentralized church. So that, in the early times, the early churches, it was centralized around the disciples and those who had the preaching responsibilities. I didn't say it exactly that way. I don't think I used the word decentralized, but that's really when you talk about the giftedness and reason for really kind of looking into those things for individuals, is that the church is the involvement of the people doing the ministry and work of the church. And so it's exciting. I think we've made progress over the last couple of years, and having some people be creative and step up with us, as far as a role and responsibility. I mean, it's refreshing to see we have 2 or 3 volunteers who consistently do the same kinds of things without ever asking or telling us.
Right.
So it's just taken care of. And in fact, one of those volunteers was up there last week, 2 or 3 days, taking care of some things that needed attention at our church. And so that's very much appreciated, but also a part of what we're about when it comes to a life of service.
Right. And I'm thinking, as you were talking, I was thinking about the illustrations of that. 2 things that I've noticed in my own life is we have one person who gets into artistic stuff. And so we've got a Christmas child coming up. We're trying to think of how do you make that look good in the foyer. Our foyer, it's very brown. And so how do you make it be something attractive that's eye-catching, but also fits with kind of a minimalist structure out there? And she's going to town on it already. That's not my gift.
Good.
I'm not visually creative, but I can say, hey, I think this might work, and they'll take it and run with it. And then the other one is on Wednesday nights, we've got a lady who just randomly started cleaning up after Wednesday night on the youth floor, vacuuming, moving stuff around, cleaning tables, everything. So it's ready for Sunday. Normally I do that on Thursday. Well, I don't have to do it now because she just saw the need and started doing it. And so both of them, one fits something I'm not good at, and the other one is taking something on my plate so I can focus on something different on a Thursday. It's really cool to see how God works those things out.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that, because I don't think when we talk about this, I don't think they don't see the full scope of this, that by people exercising their gifts, there's cases where it takes something off of our plate.
Right.
And gives us opportunity to do the things that that only we can do. And I think that's the key, is us focusing on those things and those responsibilities. And so real excited about where we go from here. It seemed, I think people are engaged in that conversation, and I look forward to more people stepping into roles in the life of our church.
Yeah, definitely.
So Sunday, we begin another series. It'll come from the Sermon on the Mount. It's called Countercultural. That's a little bit different for us, and thinking through some of the messages of Jesus through that sermon, and really not only the specific messages. And as I've kind of have gone ahead and set the specific passages that we're going to use. And so there's some that if you were to look at your Bible and just read the subheadings, there are going to be some that are grouped together. But I think one of the important things about looking at that sermon is understanding the how cultural his messaging was, and it was going to set the tone for his ministry. And so I'm looking forward to embracing some of that language and seeing what that meant for the disciples and followers at that time. And then also, I think, for us in our day, at our time, I think that countercultural idea is something that we're seeing played out before us. And so to that end, what I've set up is next week's podcast will be with Ryan Strebeck, who's the pastor of First United Methodist Church. And so he and I are going to podcast, and you're off the hook for a week. But he's really, so I bounced this idea off of him a couple of weeks ago as I started my preparation for this series, for the series coming up. And he just goes into this dialogue, and I'm going, he is so well versed in this that I think we're going to hear from him some really good points on Baptist history, which that's going to be fun, considering he's been trained in the Methodist Church and leads a Methodist church, but also how it fits into this cultural idea. And so looking forward to diving into that. I'm already trying to train myself to be careful. I think that it'd be easy for people to be offended based on their understanding and leanings in our culture today in the church. And so anyways, hopefully we can all embrace this as a challenge and really look into what Jesus was trying to say then and what Jesus might have to say to us now.
Right. Yeah.
So great. I'm looking forward to that. So anyways, I don't have a clock here in front of me, but I feel like we've gone a little bit longer than we normally do. So that's about it from here.
All right. Sounds good to me. Have fun in San
I'm going to go register and hit some meetings. I'll see you on Thursday.
And then good food. Don't forget good food.
That's not going to be a problem. See ya.
See ya.